Bets show presented by BetRivers. I'm Kai McEwen. We are the three-man weave here to talk to you about another amazing slate of college basketball. It's our favorite sport. We love it. We talk about it all the time. We write about it. It's just the best. Jim, how you doing, man? Any takeaways from yesterday? A fun night of basketball as always.
First of all, I love that you're entertaining yourself with your own intro. You're having a blast. My takeaway, Kai, is we flipped the flag. Mizzou does not deserve to be correct side up right now. Embarrassing stuff out of our Tigers last night. Lost to UMKC at home in a blowout. Just got absolutely crushed. I was going to do another takeaway, but I felt incorrect discussing anything but that. Our alma mater is an embarrassment. Matt, go ahead and gloat.
I'm not going to gloat. I'm just going to take this opportunity to teach. This is, you could be petty. Yeah, you could be petty. Me. Oh, I'm going to high road you all the way. You could low road this and I could beat my chest. But no, I want this to be a learning opportunity for both of you and also our listeners. So I'm going to get on my soapbox and preach. Guys, large road favorites, home dogs, good bet this year. We saw this with Marquette, Illinois. And I think there's a parallel between Marquette and Mizzou. There's just a lot of these teams, especially at the power conference level, that are really ugly. They're athletic, they're strong, defensive minded, tough. They're going to be scrappy when they're catching points, but when you have to cover a margin, go the other way.
Yeah, and I think we saw. Can I translate what you just said? Lack skill is what.
Lack shooting, polished skill, non-existent for Mizzou, non-existent on Marquette. They had a few pockets of guys making some shots. Justin Lewis started to break out there. I don't know. Illinois. Did we forget that Kofi Coburn wasn't playing? It's like we all just like, it's fine. Coleman Hawkins is 2.0 Kofi, and Curbelo is got rid of those turnover woes and can all of a sudden shoot threes. It's like, no, those warts are still lingering. So just a couple of cautionary tales, I guess, for the listeners.
I didn't realize your hoodie was Mizzou. Very good troll, Matt.
Shouts to my brother. A little wardrobe gift. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Mitch. Tough birthday present. With the
happy birthday to Mitch. Guys, I was at the Marquette game last night, and boy, it was fun. Pfizer Forum, great venue, lots of crowd, lots of students there.
Crowd.
The Marquette students were rushing in. I made friends with a security guy named Pops. He's a cool dude. We had a lot of fun. He got me a glass of water. He's a good guy.
Kai, why did they not rush the court? Was there any explanation given?
Apparently, I just got tweeted at. The security would not let them rush
Pops.
the court.
Pops was all over it. Pops
they wanted to.
Not on Pops' watch.
Pops wanted to rush the court. He wanted to.
Pops did rush the court. Pops was out there.
We can get going on with the show. Let's start with Seton Hall at Michigan. A very, very, very good contest here. The Gavitt Games continues. Can the Big East go 3-0, Matthew, after Providence won, after Marquette won? Those are two 3MW outright wins. Good job. We're gonna
nice job, us.
Yeah,
we're sweet.
Let's really pound that winning in.
We're awesome.
Matt, both teams look pretty awesome so far. They've both blown out two teams. I guess Buffalo wasn't really a blowout, but it kind of was in the first half. What do you think about this game?
An awesome offense versus an awesome defense. This is vintage unstoppable force meets a movable object. We saw Seton Hall put the clamps on a few of their opponents already this season. We also saw Michigan run circles around Buffalo's defense, a very athletic and top end of the mat caliber squad there. So I don't know what gives tonight, Jim. I'm pretty torn. This number feels a little high to me, just as I look at it. -9, I believe, is the current number. Or so it got bet down to 8. So opened at 9. A few Pirate backers coming in to push that number a little bit lower. I tend to lean toward the Hall, but these are two teams in general I'm very, very high on, and I think Seton Hall has a high ceiling. And it's weird to say a team that doesn't have like this demonstrative amount of skill has a high ceiling, but I think Seton Hall has that much talent defensively to be like a top 10 unit that can propel them, to the top of the Big East totem pole.
Yeah, I'm curious how their defense looks in this matchup because, like you said, Michigan's offense is great, and it's great because they execute and they put you in really uncomfortable situations. Obiagu is a phenomenal shot blocker, but they're going to put him in pick and roll and move. He's going to have to move in space, and that could be what exposes him. Also, Kai, I have a secret for Seton Hall, and no one knows this, but Hunter Dickinson prefers to go over his right shoulder. He's lefty.
Yeah,
it's somehow no one has figured this out except for UCLA in the tournament last year. We'll see if Obiagu is actually playing the scouting report or not, but it feels like nobody really gets that. Numerically, I would probably lean towards Michigan at this point, even though I love Seton Hall. As it goes down, I'd be tempted to buy back, but I'm kind of with Matt where my gut says Seton Hall. So it is very much a split decision in the world of GM. So I'm going to say no, nothing from me here, Kai.
He has one move, Jim. He has one move.
He does. No one can guard it, or no one chooses to guard it. Kai, I just want to insert one quick quote from my boy, Jared Roden, who, by the way, you need to check on his status tonight. I believe he's supposed to play, but obviously a key piece for Seton Hall there.
He played last game.
Right? 20 minutes, 20 minutes, right. So he had a pretty full workload. He's like, we're out here just trying to make statements. We're nobody to play around with. We're dogs, and we're coming out to play. So like a bang, gavel, emphatic hype statement from Seton Hall. That can either go one way or it could go the other.
Yeah, so you better back that up, or that's going to be embarrassing to look back at.
Yeah, Roden fully healthy is going to be huge because I think Seton Hall struggles to score without him, or if he's even a little bit hobbled, they're going to have trouble against Michigan's defense, which is awesome. Obiagu versus Dickinson. That's the matchup of the night. Curious to see if the Big East run can continue. Heading into the year, Big Ten was pretty much assumed as the best conference in the country. Big East maybe a little bit down. A Seton Hall win here might flip that script a little bit.
Yeah, the problem for Seton Hall is they don't have a Big Ten transfer. Providence was led by Durham. Marquette was led by Daryl Moore. So I think John Fanta was the first person I saw point that out. But man, it's vital. You take, if you can't beat them, you take them.
Trent Busick for UMass. Little Docio medicine to Penn State as well.
Yeah, Buttrick.
Buttrick. Busick. Yeah, sorry, Buttrick, not Busick. Not even close.
No. Next game.
Go ahead.
BYU versus Oregon. This game's in Portland at the Rose Garden, an event venue, guys, we have been to before, which was fun for the PK80 back in the days of yore. Jim, Oregon might actually be ready. I know I said they probably wouldn't be ready quite yet this early in the season. I think they're ready. They killed SMU. Yeah, Will Richardson looks fully back. Yeah. He looks great. But BYU, no pushover, obviously. 2 impressive wins, Cleveland State, San Diego State, even more impressive. Who do you see covering this game, Jim? Or do you see anyone covering? Is it a push?
No, neither team is covering. First of all, I'm treating this fully as a neutral site. Like I know it's in Portland in Oregon, but this is fully neutral for me. No home court advantage. And man, BYU's a dog's kind of tempting. I think Mark Pope is a fantastic coach. They didn't look awesome against San Diego State. I watched most of that game and it was kind of a scrap street fight type thing, but I still think they have some pretty solid pieces. The backcourt's outstanding. I like that Seneca Knight's kind of emerging for them as a useful piece. The thing is though, Matt, like I said, Oregon rocks. Like they've got those 3 lefty creators in the backcourt. You can't really focus on shutting down any one of them because Young, Harmon, and Richardson can all go off and create for others. This one is unfortunately a stay away for me. If it had gotten up to 5, I would have probably taken BYU, but at 4, I can't quite pull the trigger.
Yeah, I'm just been really impressed with Frank Kepnang up front for Oregon. I think that was the one sort of position with this roster that we had some question marks. You go around the other 4 from point to 4, Jacob Young, Devion Hardman, Quincy Guerrier, Eric Williams, that's as stout as it gets. And you're right, they are playing like a well-oiled machine already. I was looking to maybe fade Oregon, Kai, like you, maybe early in the season and trying to catch the pendulum swinging back the other way. But nope, not anymore. It's a hard stay away here. Just a good game, quality game.
Yeah, good game. And BYU, I think, can match Oregon's athletes. Like it's going to be a good heavyweight bout. Seneca Knight, he's playing well too. Former LSU, San Jose State transfer. Gideon George is a good athlete. So it's going to be a really nice matchup here. I do lean towards BYU. I'm not sure they can keep the Ducks off the glass. That was definitely a route of advantage for San Diego State in that game. So we'll see if BYU can keep them off the glass. I lean towards the Cougars. Next game, Virginia at Houston. If you're not a fan of defense, maybe don't watch this game because there's going to be a lot of it. The spread has come down a little bit more to where probably it should be all along. I think it's 5.5, 6 right now. Started out very high. I was quite shocked at the opening number in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, the total is so low. So when you have a spread close to 10 on the opener, with a team like Virginia that, they lost to Navy, but they could still be very good this season and could be
Virginia has to lose by 10 to not cover that opener. That was crazy to me.
Yeah. That's just nuts. So Tremont Mark, Matt still out for Houston. I lean towards Virginia with the points. Like I said, the total is super, super low. Not going to be a lot of scoring in this game.
I do too. I think the number is just too high. Even at the current price right now, I think they're still worth a small bet, even though it's most of your value has been sucked up. Jim, are we worried about the Virginia front line? That's always Houston's strength. There's no difference this season. Their guard play is more erratic. And as is Virginia's to some degree, but I'm worried about Virginia's front line being able to stand the test and the fortitude that the Cougars are going to throw at them on the glass, especially.
Yeah, this is Caden Shedrick. Are you ready or not? This is a big day for him because Houston's onslaught on the offensive glass is relentless. Gardner can handle it. I mean, he is a tank. He'll be fine, but we need to see something from Shedrick here for Virginia to stay in this. The offense is going to be ugly. Like Kai said, with what we've seen from Virginia this year, the offense is probably going to be bad all year. And against a really good defensive team like Houston that doubles in the post and closes out hard on everything. There's a reason this total is super low, but like Kai mentioned, that makes me lean towards the dog. I just, without Mark, it's hard to see Houston like running away with this one. Tony Bennett, like Jay Wright, not often an underdog. Let me get the numbers for that actually.
Oh yeah, please do, Jim.
Jim, while you do that, I'll pull some space. Last game against Rice Kai, Houston, the Battle of H-Town, 9 different players grabbed offensive rebound for the Cougars. Finished with 38% rebounding rate. Pretty damn good.
Good stat. Yeah, Virginia on the other end will struggle to score. As Alec pointed out in the chat, it might be very difficult for them. And Houston's offense is very good. So it's not quite a two-way street. I think Virginia probably struggles more than Houston. I think it's Houston's game to win. But with this many points right now that the odds makers are giving us, I do lean towards the Hoos. Jim, you got that stat?
I got numbers for you. So in the last 5 years, Tony Bennett has been an underdog 18 times. He is 11-6-1 ETS.
That makes perfect sense. Right.
Yeah, basically 2/3 of the time he's going to cover and adds up.
Fade him at your own peril. So I will not.
Next game. It's an interstate battle between Creighton and Nebraska.
It is intrastate battle.
Intrastate.
We always get that confused. That's tough.
Intrastate. I can't believe Nebraska's favored by 3.5. I think that kind of tells you where Creighton is currently. Their program, they struggle with Kennesaw Gym. They struggle with Pine Bluff. But Nebraska's not world beaters. I mean, they lost to Western Illinois.
Yeah.
Right?
I have a hard time with this Creighton team right now because I watched that Kennesaw game and Kennesaw stuck with them, but like there's some underlying signs that are pretty solid for Creighton. They're 5th in the country in 2-point percentage. Like that's really good.
Yeah.
They just haven't shot the ball at all. 18% from deep, 57% from the line. Like that seems a little bit of an aberration, especially for a McDermott team. However, they're super young. They're like super, super young. And this is their first road game. So I can't really get myself amped up to back them. So I'd probably leave this one alone. I don't really want to back Nebraska as a favorite either. I could see like this one being a bit of a shootout because of the regression that should come on shooting numbers, but not enough to take anything here, Matt.
This is a huge rivalry for those that aren't in the Nebraska proper. This reminds me a lot of the 2019 matchup when Nebraska had an awesome team. I believe that was James Palmer and Isaiah Roby and Glenn Watson, Tim Miles last season there. Creighton came to their building. Creighton was a little vulnerable that year, and that place was absolutely bonkers. And Nebraska just put in this perfect home run of a game. And I think they won by 19 or 20. This sort of sets up for a similar type of spot tonight where I think Nebraska is they're the better team. And I think they're playing like it. Creighton's sort of in disarray. You have that home sort of energy momentum behind you. I think this could be a blowout. I really do. I'm not going to take it. I think laying 3.5 of this Nebraska team is a little bit too rich for my blood, but gut tells me this could get ugly.
Yeah, I think Creighton's won this matchup like 9 last 10
they've
years
dominated,
but,
right.
But the one win was like that good Nebraska team that destroyed them at Nebraska. Just absolutely demolished it.
This is a little less than an hour on the bus for Creighton. So
good geo research. Nice.
Not a lot of travel here, obviously. I don't know if we can trust Nebraska's guards. Like we've said this in the preseason too. Alonzo Verge, his O rating is 92 right now, which basically checks out. He has a 50% assist rate, which is nuts, and a super low turnover rate. So he's handling the ball well. Baby McGowan's has been really good, but Trey McGowan's has struggled a lot. Obviously, it's super early in the season. It's 2 games, right? Small sample size.
I weirdly like that as a defensive backcourt against Creighton's young backcourt. Creighton's had turnover problems like that. That's probably the one big alarm bell there is against Nebraska's length and pressure in the backcourt. Perhaps that's where they get the edge and start to have some big runs because of repeated turnovers.
And I want to say advantage Kalkbrenner inside, but I also don't really trust Kalkbrenner. I think he's very, very overrated. So
yeah, you're not a Kalk guy at all.
I'm not.
He's from St. Louis. You got to rep the city.
I know.
Come on, dude.
Maybe someday he'll be better. Okay. I lean towards Creighton, but I agree, Matt. It's a stay away from me. Chat mob time. Matt, are you the czar?
I got it.
I sure hope you have been because
Jimmy got nothing. come to the rescue.
I got a little something, but you got this.
Just a light batch request here, so we'll get back to the outline fairly quickly. A twofer from the opening part of the Mob Connecticut Score podcast asking about Hofstra Iona and Georgia State Richmond. Jim, I'll go to you for the New York battle. Kai, I'm going to you for Georgia State Richmond.
We're gonna save that for the outline, my man.
Which one? Oh, the Iona one's on the outline. Actually, they're both on the outline. God, we have every question's been on the outline except for, hold on, reviewing notes.
I got a couple.
I just want to point out a comment from Job Gunderson real quick. Talked about how he's going to abandon gambling full time after the Citadel lost in double OT last night. And I appreciate that. We were also on the losing end of that. So no takes from us on that game. Just want to revisit what a horrible, unfortunate double OT loss that was.
All right, Kai, I guess we're in charge of chat because Matt has dropped the ball. Southern and Rice, I know, is out there. Matthew Akers asked about
Did I miss that?
I like Southern there.
I'll check the.
I think that's a little high. Southern's been really feisty so far this year.
Yeah. Yes, they have.
Competed at Louisville, won at Tulane. Rice has the offensive firepower to go off here, but I don't know if Chris Mullins is playing point guard. They switched up their starting lineup last game because Quincy Oliveri has been a little off. He was their leading scorer last year. So I think Rice is still a little bit figuring itself out, especially on the defensive end. Southern's good enough to compete.
Yeah, I lean Southern as well. Like you said, Jim, or hinted, Rice blowout is a possibility because their offense can get hot in a hurry.
That's always the risk. Like if you bet against one Rice, like every once in a while they're going to win by 40, and you're going to feel like an idiot.
Yeah, but lean
I like Southern. And
anything, I do see a couple more questions if you want to hit them now, guys.
Yep, Steve Dunn asking about Winthrop and Middle Tennessee State. I think that line opened comically low and it got bet up.
Winthrop so did everyone else.
much better. Middle Tennessee is the worst team in the Conference USA. Maybe they're not the disaster this year that they've been, and McDevitt had some really good teams at Asheville, but Winthrop's very good again. That comeback against Mercer was really impressive. I would lean towards Winthrop even where it's been bet up to.
Yeah,
I hate that I was kind of impressed by Middle Tennessee against Bethune-Cookman. Maybe I need to recalibrate my mind on that.
Watch them against a competent team and then maybe reevaluate.
Which is probably because Bethune played South Florida close, but then South Florida stinks. So the whole transitive property web gets really confusing. I have no idea what to do with this game. It's a hard stay away. Yeah. I don't know what to do.
Jim, anything else?
Wow, Matt,
I got one. You took it from me. It was C. So now I'm pouting on the side. Jim, I'll take it back. Chicago State Loyola from Maddie C, a fellow Maddie C. Big number. These two teams flat out do not like each other. Battle of Chicago. Actually, I have no idea if there's really animosity between them. But Jim, is this number too high? I believe it's low 30s currently.
Yeah, last I saw was 33. I think it's too high. These two teams played last year at Loyola and the spread was 36. And this Chicago State team is clearly way better than last year's team was. Mm-hmm. Loyola's might be a tad worse. They've been awesome offensively, but they're not a top 10 KenPom team like they were last year. I think that's too high. You don't get excited backing Chicago State as plus 33 dog, but I just think in general, number wise, looking at history, that's probably a little too high.
Yeah, I'll lean that way. All right, Matt, I'll take it back. We'll go back to the outline. St. Louis, aka SLU, the real SLU. Sorry, Southeastern Louisiana. They are at Memphis. The first real test for SLU since losing Javante Perkins tragically to an ACL tear. I still think they're a really good team, Jim. SLU. They have grit. They got some talent left in that roster, but Memphis is going to have the talent and athleticism advantage in basically every matchup this season. Do you think SLU can hang around 10.5, 11 right now? 10.5 at BetRivers.
I'm unsure. So yesterday the theme was tempo clashes. Today I'm talking a lot about turnovers because I think they matter a lot in these matchups. Yuri Collins has been brilliant so far as SLU's point guard, 28 assists to 3 turnovers. But again, they have played nobody. And in past seasons, his splits against the best teams, like his KenPom tier A, tier B splits have been awful. Like he just coughs the ball up like crazy. And Memphis is going to pressure repeatedly. I'm concerned about that. On the other end, Memphis has also got some issues with ball control and SLU is going to pressure them a little. So this could be kind of a sloppy game. Maybe that makes you lean towards the dog. I have no bet here, Matthew, at all.
Yeah, kind of a callback to my takeaway at the intro. SLU is one of those Jekyll and Hyde favorite dog teams, a team I like to back. It's not the same DNA as they had with Jordan Goodwin and Sean French, but it still is a team that I think is built to play better as a dog. So I like that in this situation. However, Memphis Kai is just a team that I'm not looking to get in the way of right now. I think they have this sort of FU mentality and that they're going to try and beat the living crap out of whoever they play just to prove that they belong in the national conversation. And they took down NC Central and Tennessee Tech too. I think, competent in quotations, mid-majors, but they beat the crap out of those squads.
Did not cover against Tennessee Tech. I'll have you know.
Oh yeah. Tennessee Tech did squeak inside. A little backdoor action there.
Yeah. And slew 2-0 as a big favorite this year against the spread. So
it's a new time, new era. Well, then all these priors are debunked. Kai still no appetite to fade Memphis. That's where I stand. Too deep, too talented.
I'm hoping Travis Ford has a good game plan for this one. Slows it down, bangs a little bit. I agree with Jim. I'm worried about Yuri Collins handling the ball against Memphis.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he can hold up to the pressure. I'm not sure Gibson Jimerson can get off shots very easily against this team. I mean, he's been awesome as well this year. He's just a sniper from deep. But against Memphis, his length, I worry a little bit. I'm still leaning towards SLU over 10 points here. I think there's enough, and there's a hope that SLU keeps it ugly to keep within the number. And we move on to the next game, which is Georgia State at Richmond, a game that was asked about in the chat. Here we go, delivering. Georgia State pounded Northeastern. Matt, it was very impressive. They have tons of athletes. They're very experienced. They're tough. I dare to say they're pretty well coached, too, with Rob Lanier. Richmond kind of shaky right now out of the gate. Very surprising given their age, given their continuity, how long those guys have been in the offense that Mooney likes to run. Spread feels a little bit high for me though. I'm leaning towards Georgia State.
I agree. I think it feels high. I am sort of torn on my Richmond preseason stance, Jim. It's a squad that we felt like was due for a bounce back after the COVID ruined season last year. But, sort of stumble out of the gates. I worry that there is a psychological here we go again type of thing with Richmond. And if they come out here sluggish tonight, Georgia State can put up points in a hurry. They are athletic, they are skilled, and they are deep. So I think the Panthers are a live dog. I'm not going to do the old sprinkle emphatic endorsement here, but I am worried for my Richmond Spiders, a team that I love, and I want to see Chris Mooney in the tournament. Can't lose this one.
Matt, if I made a comparison between Chris Mooney's current job status and Tim Jankovic's, how would you feel about that?
Not good.
Well, do you think it's apt?
Yes, it is apt. It is apt. It bums me out though, because I like both.
It's coaches we like that are like, man, are we too high on these guys or recently? All right, so this, as you guys mentioned, Georgia State flies around. This is a pressure themed episode. Richmond can handle the ball, though. They've got a center that's like the best passing big man in the country in Grant Golden, or one of the best. I think that helps against the press. I think they can shoot. Georgia State gave up a ton of threes to Northeastern.
Yep.
And if they do that against Richmond, they could get lit up from the outside. Hopefully, Richmond's cleaned up some defensive issues. Utah State was going backdoor against them like crazy in that game last week. I actually lean towards Richmond. I liked it at 6, but at 7, I'm staying away. As you guys mentioned, it's creeping up, but I think we need to see something from the Spiders. I expect that we will tonight, but man, don't feel great about it right now.
Yeah, Northeastern 13 for 32 from 3 against Georgia State. If they allow that many threes to Richmond, it could get kind of ugly. And Richmond's offense is just night and day from Northeastern's currently. Northeastern just has they're playing wings at point guard. Like they're kind of in trouble currently.
Whereas Richmond has a 5th-year starter at point guard.
Yeah, Gilliard, who's incredible. At 7, Jim, I lean Georgia State, but I agree. Richmond could definitely take care of business here. Next game, Nevada at Santa Clara, Matt's favorite team. Nevada, very shocking loss to the Toreros, who might be scrappier than I'm giving them credit for.
The WCC is scrappy, Kai. WCC is a scrappy conference this year. That's the takeaway.
They're very good.
LMU.
Except for LMU.
Not as scrappy as we thought. Yeah.
Santa Clara coming off a Stanford win. Matt, 2 jabs at Matt there.
This was close. It was close. Competitive.
These are 2 of the biggest teams in the country, height-wise. I think they're both top 15 per Ken Palm's little height rating thing. I think that hurts Santa Clara more. They really need to score inside here, and Nevada's guards, Matt, advantage Sherfield here. I think Nevada has the advantage. It's a low spread. I'm leaning towards their way.
I mean, I lean Nevada as well. Probably get burned again, fading the Broncos. You're right, Kai. I don't think I'm disrespecting them. I just think these are very, very low spreads. They're getting like top 100 caliber respect. I'm not sure they're quite in that cut, Jim. But you're right. The length is going to be an issue. The one thing to note here, Nevada, I believe, was out 2 of their top 4 bigs. this is an odd Alford roster in which he has like a stable of bigs. So I don't actually put a lot of stock in that. There's still two, like Will Baker, the top 50 recruit from Texas, is still there. So they have some serious size at all 5 positions. That negates, I think, the edge that Santa Clara has. Feels like an uglier, lower scoring game. Not one I want to lay points on the road, but I certainly would lean Nevada if I had to take a side.
I'm with you. It feels underish, feels Nevada-y, but like I don't trust Nevada right now. Like if this is kind of a prove it game for me. I'm not quite ready to back them. I mean, they got like rolled at home by San Diego. It wasn't like San Diego came back and squeaked it out. They were down the whole way. So if they don't perform here, I'm going to start to really question, like, is this a top 3 team in the Mountain West, a team that's going to contend? I think people fell in love with how good Sherfield was last year, but he masked some issues. Like he made a ton of late game shots for them. He was so clutch. And I think the win-loss record outweighed how good they were last year. So concerned about Nevada staying away from this one, Kai.
All right, last game of the outline here, guys, before more chat mob questions and our best bets. Hofstra at Iona. Jalen Ray, probably back tonight for Hofstra. That's huge, but they've been awesome without him, Jim. Zach Cooks is the man.
Yes,
he's averaging 27.5 points per game. They've looked awesome. They covered against Houston, almost won against Houston, and then they beat the living tar out of Duquesne. And then Iona coming off a narrow win against Harvard. Obviously, lots of talent on that roster. Obviously, Patino is on the sidelines there. Do you have a side in this one, Jim?
I want the 7 to peak back out. I would be very interested in Hofstra at that price.
Yeah,
they've been so good without Ray. I mean, maybe there's some uneasiness or not unevenness is the word I'm looking for with his reincorporation into the lineup. But Iona really struggled with Harvard's like all small lineup. They basically played no bigs, and you can do that if you're Hofstra. Like when Iola is off the court, it's 5 pretty skilled guys. And Iona just got spread out and beat off the dribble. And that's something Hofstra can do to them too. So yeah, I definitely lean towards the Pride. They've been awesome to start the year, could keep it going here. Iona hasn't been as convincing as I thought they would be. So definitely leaning towards the Pride.
Yeah, Jim, I think the reason we thought Iona would be so good this year, they had great talent, but we expected Patino to lift that defense to a Louisville light version of eliteness, right? You have to normalize for Matt caliber versus the Louisville ACC caliber guys he had there. We haven't seen that. They haven't defended. Jordan Majeski talked about this, how they just couldn't guard the ball. You mentioned with the small ball lineup of Harvard. So I have some concerns right now with Iona. I think the value is just simply in the caliber of talent that they have. I don't really see the Rick Pitino effect baked into this team yet. So it's not a spot I want to back, especially with how well Hofstra is playing, Kai.
I'm especially concerned here too. I just want to, because Iona had the foreign trip. I thought they would be like, really locked
like
in early.
6 games over there. Yep.
Yeah. They played a ton in Greece and it just hasn't been there. No Osborne Shima might actually be hurting them just because having the eraser at the rim when they do get beat off the dribble was kind of a staple of Patino's teams at Louisville. But I lean towards Hofstra here, Kai.
Yeah. Iona, their defense, Matt, teams are shooting 23% against them from 3. And they're still like, barely getting by.
Regression monster.
And Hofstra shoots a lot of threes. That's kind of their thing this year under Speedy Claxton. So yeah, 6.5. I'm leaning Hofstra at 7. That might be a play if it gets back up there. All right, chat mob. What do we got?
I'm back on duty.
Great.
A lot of people asking about Cal Baptist Jackson State. Love to see interest here on the extra board. Jim, we love us some Wayne Brent, don't we? Mr. Jay McKinnis up front, one of the best rim protectors in SWAC land. The Cal Baptist, Rick Roy, fun offense. I like both teams. I have no lean in this matchup.
When it like dipped down to -6 this morning, and I would have taken Cal Baptist there, but I think it's up to 8, which is
up to 8 now. Yep.
Like where I think it belongs. Wayne Brent has really crafty defensive schemes. That's like what he's known for. Covered that first half against Illinois when Illinois was down like basically everybody. They were feisty in their last one too. I can't remember. At Louisiana Tech, they
La Tech, right?
Tech. So yeah, they're pretty feisty. Although I just think the Cal Baptist shooting can spread them out. Like I think that's really what Brent takes advantage of, is teams that have like offensive foibles, and that is not Cal Baptist's problem at all. So it's big travel for Jackson State too.
Yeah. Question in the chat, Matt, was are Trey and Taron Armstrong the next Martin brothers, basically the best brothers in college basketball right now? They are really good. If you have not watched, they're the
good.
Aussies. I believe.
Oi.
Taryn's the younger one. I don't know. They're really good. Cal Baptist rocks. Yep. I have no side, Matt.
Sorry, Kai. I'm going to give you a sort of a dud of a matchup that I don't think anyone's going to be watching. But hey, it's lined and there's betting opportunities here, so it will be discussed. How about Pitt? The pathetic Pitt Panthers laying a touchdown to what I like to call NC State light, UNC Wilmington, former Kevin Keats assistant. So for those who don't watch Wilmington or don't care to watch them, just kind of think of a lesser version of what the prototypical Keats teams do. Kai, Pitt could get Burton back tonight. That might help against the pressure. Do you have any angle here?
No, I mean, it's always probably smart to fade Pitt if they're a favorite. So that's kind of the starting point, I think. But Wilmington, I'm not sure they inspire too much confidence. They're kind of one of the weaker teams in the Colonial. I'm going to stay away from this one.
I've been trying to get hyped on Wilmer the last 2 years. And they had injury issues last year.
They had a spurt last year, Jim. A quick little spurt, which that was good for us. But yeah, it hasn't been consistent, has it?
But I think the pressure against a team with no guards is the way you want to go against Pitt. So if Burton is limited or not back at all, then I got to lean towards the Seahawks.
Jimmy, West Coast showdown here. The Titans of Fullerton against George Washington. My Colonials, team we just saw give a heck of a fight against Maryland. But Fullerton's been pretty impressive as well. This is George Washington's, I believe, third game of a weird West Coast road trip in the non-con. Their second game. Okay, so it's tough to make sense of how much the home court's worth there. Is there some wear and tear from the being off the body clock, or are they over there? So I don't know. Kind of a weird game here. I want to back the Colonials. I'm not going to. I feel like you're on the other side, correct?
Well, I want to just pass it back to you. You love GW. So I mean, where it's at, Fullerton's like -3. I would even lean GW at that point.
Yeah, I'm surprised I'm not on it. I just here's what I like about George Washington this year is they basically stopped letting James Bishop do whatever the hell he wants to do, and they prioritize other weapons. And so Bishop is like now more of a point guard and less of a let's all watch me go one-on-one and dribble the ball for 20 seconds at the top of the key. And Ricky Lindo, former Maryland transfer, is legit. I'm not backing them tonight. I will be backing George Washington quite a bit though going forward. Kai. Siena, Yale. Siena's not been good. They were not good to us opening night against St. Bonnie's. They cracked and then did again last game as well. I think the lack of depth, the injuries there, and a cumulative effect dynamic is taking a toll against the Yale. I mean, we've seen these Ivies been pretty effective. So I'm not really Operation Fade Ivies is sort of over for me.
Yeah. Yale's a lot better, I think, than Siena, at least right now. Siena has some issues, like you kind of hinted, but injuries are part of it, of course. Anthony Gaines is not the player that I think people thought he would be. He's not
Manny Camper. That's basically, yeah.
He's not. So at 3.5 right now for Yale, I'm leaning towards the Bulldogs.
Same.
Jim, Big Ten showdown. Someone just asked about Luke Putnam, Purdue hosting Wright State, the Raiders. Big Grant Basile up front. If there's a mid-major team out there that has, I wouldn't say comparable size to Purdue, but the closest thing to it, Wright State's probably in that short list of contenders. But I worry that Grant Basile, my guy, and the other solid big stable that they have there are just going to be like, oh, this is a different beast of big.
Yeah, my fear is foul trouble for Basile. Like if he gets a couple early, they're not as deep. They don't have the two-headed monster that Purdue does. So they could get in some serious trouble, but like their perimeter is pretty solid. They can compete here. As long as he's not buried on the bench with 2 or 3 fouls early, I think Wright State, it's a little too big of a number. I would lean towards the Raiders.
I'm laughing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kai.
I lean towards the Raiders as well, but I'm scared of Purdue. The numbers come down like 16.5 right now. I'm not backing right at that point.
Yeah, 17 was my strike price, but like,
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe you don't find a difference between 17 and 16.5. That's up to you.
And Kai, the people are calling for us for lack of YouTube chat participation. And I'm sorry, I'm just too much. I can only juggle so many things at one time. I do think you need to answer for the Central Michigan debacle. Where do you stand with this organization going forward? Will you continue to back them? I think people need some explanations here.
Well, I love Boopy Miller. His real name's Kevin, but he goes by Boopy, and he's excellent. He's their next
big shots late yesterday.
Yeah, that was a really disappointing performance. Eastern Illinois should never be up by 20 on anybody. So that was a letdown. If you had the opening number, you covered for Central Michigan, but not the number I gave out in the show. And that's what matters, Matt, on this show. And I'm accountable, and it'll go towards our record. Yep. There you go.
God bless you for it. Mm-hmm. I'm scrolling through here. I'm sure my auditing attention to detail skills are poor to quite poor. Did I miss any, Jim, that you saw come through? I think that's it.
I think that is it. I see Chicago State mentioned again. We did hit that one earlier.
We did hit that one. Yep.
Towards the Cougs on the road.
And just a lot of don't bet on CMU, reiterating that point, guys. Yes. So that's what most of the chatter is comprised of.
I appreciate the sentiment.
I want to say, if you're watching the show and you're in the regular Field of 68 chat, we are funneling everyone to the Field of 68 Best Bets chat.
Yes, that channel.
There are two different YouTube channels. We have tweeted the link to the Best Bets one, so that is one we're going to be taking all the questions from going forward. So if you're like, why aren't they answering my question? What the heck? We're looking at that other chat. We'll get you there in the future. It's a process. Early in the season, we're fine tuning.
All right, let's go best bets, Jim. What do you got?
I got two. I got a twofer for you.
Twofer. Holy cow.
We are going dumpster diving today, Kai. This is disgusting. We're headed down to the weird UTSA multi-team event, and I'm giving you a twofer from there. We got Denver plus 10.5, the Pioneers. I don't think UTSA should be a double-digit favorite over just about anyone right now. No. And Denver looked pretty competent yesterday. They got a new coach. Inspiring to see them not floundering like they were under Rodney Billups. And the second one, Texas A&M Corpus Christi -0.5. And I think IUPUI is real bad, like real bad. And Corpus Christi played with Texas A&M for like 38 minutes before A&M went bananas from three. I think that's actually kind of a decent-ish Southland team. Shouldn't be a dog to IUPUI. So that's my twofer.
Love it. Not an official best bet for me, but I just looked at the prices of the money line, Jim, for Denver. Eerily similar to the Roos yesterday. So I'm going to have to give a token sprinkle endorsement to the Pios down there. You know what? The Roadrunners are awful. The Roadrunners are awful. Yeah, join me, Jim. Come on.
I'll join you. UTSA lost at home, like it is at their home court, to Texas A&M Commerce yesterday, who is a future D1 school.
Future D1.
That's still troubling. I'm with you, Matt. Denver should be a very close game at least.
It should be a close game. I think people are still trying to figure out what UTSA is, and it's not a good situation there. And Denver, anything post Rodney Billups is going to be good. So that's where you have two converging dynamics there. I like the Pios money line, but my official best bet, the Dukes of James Madison, Kai. We love us some Dukes. We love us some Mark Byington.
Love JMU.
It seems like we fade Eastern Kentucky a little too often. We did last year quite a bit. I don't know if it's a disrespect to them. I just think JMU has really good guards, and they're well equipped to handle the helter-skelter pressure, frenetic renegade style that the Colonials will throw. Sorry, the Colonels will throw at you.
As a kid, I called them the
Colonels. It's weird. I don't like the pronunciation. Yeah, the spelling is tough there. Yeah, not very phonetic. Anyway, I like him to Kai +3. It's a good number. So
lock it have a BetRivers, Matt. It's a bad number.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. I like it 2 or above. I was hoping I can get in 3. We should have announced it earlier. 2 and above is where I think it's still within bet range. Hopping now on the Dukes.
Yeah, Takal Molson is back from injury.
Yes.
He had a terrible first game against Old Dominion, but he is back. So it's
shooting regression, hopefully, for JMU. Goodness.
I think Tyree Iannaco is still out. He's a North Dakota State transfer.
Like they're deep. Yeah, they're very deep, man. Very deep.
I lean towards your way, Matt. I'm a big JMU guy this season. All right, my best bet is, and this has gotten slammed, of course, but I'm going to take it anyways. North Carolina in Charleston over 161.5. It's a huge total, but I think there's going to be points galore. I think UNC scores 100. Charleston's giving up like 74 points per game. And they've played 3 teams that are just not very good offensively. Loyola Maryland, South Carolina State, and I believe Lipscomb. If those teams score that many points, UNC should score a ton. I'm thinking 90 to 100 there. And Charleston runs. They're second in the country right now in tempo. Pat Kelsey, obviously. He's turned the tempo completely on its head from Earl Grant. They're going to run all day, try to get in transition. And UNC's offense hasn't really been willing to stop anybody. So I think it's going to be points all day. No side for me, but total 161.5.
Yeah, you said UNC is going to score 100. Charleston's scoring 101, Kai.
Oh, yeah?
I think they get the home upset here. I'm very in on Pat.
Wow. I kind of like that, Jim.
And UNC was not convincing against Loyola Maryland and shorthanded Brown. So I'm going with my Cougars here, Matthew.
They gave up 90 to Brown. Not that Brown's like
Brown without their best player.
Not their best player. Like it's not good.
That's not.
I'm with you, Jim. I like that. Anyway.
All right, guys. That does it for our show. Thanks for joining us. Hey, we're off tomorrow, Wednesday. We are back on Thursday at noon, talking more best bets.
It's going to be a twofer on
I'm
Thursday.
Going.
Matt's going to be in the skies. He's going to be a flyboy. So early retirement will bring it for you.
You're gonna get early retirement from those. Which is we'll see how the numbers pan out without me. But yeah, early retirement for me will be in Hawaii, cashing in my money line winnings from last night. So a little vacation, well deserved. We'll be back soon. You will
leave us a best bet though, won't you?
Yes, I'll drop a few in, or I'll just slide it within the YouTube chat unbeknownst to you guys.
All right, great.
Before you go, please hit the like button on the channel. Please subscribe to Field of 68 Best Bets. Again, we're presented by BetRivers. We are a 3-man weave. We will see you on Thursday.